So Australia.
Sport on 4 with Stepstone Online Recruitment.
There's no place quite so exciting as Lord's Cricket Ground to start a Test match summer, though opinions about English cricket remain mixed.
Not hugely optimistic about England.
Again.
Every side has problems, and I think that the England side, they get picked on by the press so much that they can't perform.
Well, I hope that England are doing very well and they're going to beat not only the Zimbabweans but also the West Indians as well.
I'm hoping that England will do better than they have over the last few seasons, but expectations, I have very few of those really. I'm hope for the best and prepare for the worst, I think.
Lord's has never been England's best ground recently, but I'm just looking forward to a change this year. Perhaps we'll win twice here.
Forget any idea that Zimbabwe are here to visit. Like England, they have a point to make. There were mixed views from the experts of the firm, vaguely grassy-looking pitch. Perhaps the underlying moisture after such a wet spring convinced Nasser Hussain to bowl first when he won the toss. There was a lively, urgent look to the England team as they emerged from the pavilion, with just one new boy amongst them, Chris Schofield, and Ed Giddings, after one test last summer, preferred to Durham's Steve Harmison. It was a cloudy, pretty chilly morning, and at 5 to 11 the rain, well, the drizzle anyway, came to briefly delay things. No Henry Alonga, but otherwise Andy Flower seemed comfortable enough with his team, though it was the openers, Brother Grant and Trevor Gripper, that he turned to first. And didn't they have their work cut out? Andrew Caddick's been in marvellous form for England for a year now, and he made a brilliant start. Perfect stuff from Caddick. Barry Richards is with me.
Yeah, so Andrew Caddick's a fantastic bowler, very tall man. He bowls it short of a length, and this is the first occasion on which he pitched it up. He really went for the Yorker, and Grant Flower just didn't spot it at all. A really superb piece of bowling. You can see how full this is, and Grant Flower was just left wanting. He'd been looking for a different length completely. So great bowling and a great start.
And Goff got in the act with a big LBW shout, the ball darting back off the seam. It may have been an iota high, it may conceivably have gone down the leg side, but it was an idea of how much movement there was out there. Goff wasn't quite at his best. Caddick certainly was, Michael Slater.
Caddick, as we've mentioned, bowling superbly, and in this case, Gripper caught on the crease, superb line, superb length, uncharacteristically dry wicket mid-May at Lord's, ball seaming quickly.
Yeah, and it was seeming enough, I think, all the time to put so much doubt in the batsman's mind, Barry, because there was a problem immediately for Alistair Campbell.
Well, the one before this one had just gone away, and this was great bowling by Caddick, just thinking about it, and he's got this one to go the other way. He got one to seam quite markedly away from Alistair Campbell, and I think he was allowing for that, just feeling away from his body. You can see how far bat and pad are away from each other, the head nowhere near the line, just managing to get an inside edge. So Andrew Caddick, look how upright that seam is. That's just beautiful bowling. If you get the wrist behind it, you get the results.
A fantastic start for England. 8 for 3 at that stage, the Zimbabweans, but two street fighters, Captain Andy Flower and the vastly experienced Murray Goodwin, who's played a lot of cricket on hard pitches in Australia, came together. It was up to them to drag Zimbabwe back into the match. Runs. And it may well be 4. Oh, is he edged that as well? No. This time Dave Orchard says no. Now that may have been top of the pad. It was a tremendous take from Alex Stewart, diving low to his left, to his right side. And I wonder. Oh, I say. We can see on the snickometer There is movement in the graph. There isn't anything conclusive there. That's a super stroke from Flower. He just stood up and stayed nicely balanced.
Yes, that's a super shot from Andy Flower. Just waited for that and hit it straight up the ground. Andy Flower looks to score in the V early on, and that's a classic example of hitting it in the V.
Looking for the Yorker again. Ed Giddings having a bit of fun in the boundary.
Yes, he was using the tactic he used against Grant Flower, pushing him back, and then firing in the Yorker. But Murray was up to task here and clipped it nicely for 2 runs. It's good fielding this by Ed Giddens.
More runs, and 4 of them again. Infuriating stuff for the bowler, ideal for Andy Flower. England will continue with the 3 slips and a gully, and a leg gully as well. One round the corner catching as Flintoff bangs that into the surface, and it surprised Andy Flower. You see the way he jumped to play that on the back foot.
Yes, well, I was surprised that Flintoff was coming on instead of Ed Giddens, but he's justified that move there by his cap.
That's a good shot, clipped through mid-wicket. Goff in pursuit. Might just pull it up. And 3 runs off the first ball after the break. That's another good shot. This time it's Andy Flower piercing the gap between gully and backward point. And 7 runs off the first 2 balls. That won't please Caddick. Ooh, and there's an edge. Not carrying to Graham Hick. Good bowling again from Caddick. Oh, a bit of luck there for Flower. It's going to be 4. Nasser Hussain has just taken away that 3rd slip and moved him to a 2nd gully. And that ball's gone right between the 2.
And once again, there's 4 more through that same region. What to do for Nasser Hussain? Zimbabwe 42 for 3.
Andy Caddick was a real handful in the morning against the Zimbabweans, and the reason was because he had the most beautiful wrist position. When he released the ball, the seam was perfectly upright, and that's done beautifully by a very, very good wrist position. The seam staying upright all the way down, and then maximising the amount of help in this wicket. That was an absolutely unplayable delivery to Trevor Gripper, and that's how he achieves it. Andy Caddick has tinkered with his action quite a bit to make sure that his wrist is upright and the seam comes down absolutely perpendicular to the ground. He was a real handful, whereas Darren Goff was much plainer at the other end. Goff scrambling the seam. If you watch here, the ball actually, the seam wobbling around as it lands and pitching probably on a rough bit of the ball rather than the seam, not really moving at all, and easy for the batsman to play. No movement from Goff at all, and that really accounted for Nasser Hussain's decision to replace him with the burly seam up of Andy Flintoff, who had a couple of overs from the pavilion end before the rain came.
Yeah, and we did just have some rain there here at Lord's, which delayed play, and we're going to pick it up again. 46 they've moved on, this pair, and at the other end, Caddick has been replaced by Ed Giddings, who really is looking fit and strong. And immediately, that was a brilliant bit of bowling. Michael Slater.
Well, the game's all about breaking partnerships. This was a big wicket. Andy Flower going quite hard at this, but once again, a feature, and the first wicket for Giddens was the line and length, and just bowling in the correct corridor.
And Michael Atherton nicely staying down at slip. That's good for any youngster at home. Stay down and let the ball come to you. So that was a good effort. And some famous people amongst the audience today at Lord's. A crowd of 10,000. Darren Gough now quickly comes into Murray Goodwin, and Nick Knight to his left side, low at slip. That would have pleased His Highness, I think, Barry.
That was a great catch, but I think Darren Gough trying to bang it in, trying to get Murray Goodwin on the back foot, and he did that. And I think Goodwin expected that one to come a little quicker, and in the end, just made enough adjustment. It was almost like a one-day shot, guarding into that area, which is successful in one-day cricket, but in Test cricket, where you got 3 slips, out you go.
Yeah, Gough really got a rhythm going, and a thick edge there on the back foot from Whittle. But this was the first time in the day. Simon Hughes made the point about the seam not being quite perfect this morning. Now, this afternoon he came out. I thought he had a pretty good pace to the crease and rhythm all day. But here, look, trying the Yorker. Suddenly we've got that bouncing Gough. And best of all, have a look at this. We've got the smiling Gough as well. And it's one of the things that so many people watching English cricket have enjoyed about the side, Darren Gough. Now we go back to Ed Giddings, and he gets a bit of luck. That is Guy Whittle, the end of Guy Whittle.
Yeah. That was something we saw from the Zimbabweans. Things really not happening their way. Unfortunate to drag this ball on. If it was his day, that would have missed leg stump, off stump, and he would have got away with that.
It is funny how some days it's your day and other days it isn't. So at lunch, 67 for 6, with only Flower getting 24, Whittle 15, Goodwin 18, but real problems for the Zimbabweans, because England, in the face initially of Andrew Caddick, then Ed Giddings and Darren Gough, really did bowl so well. You see only 3 overs for Flintoff. That was because no more was needed from Flintoff because of the excellence of the others, and one can't praise Andrew Caddick high enough. Now we come back with Ed Giddings, an idea there of late movements. One of the most important things, I would say, for anybody trying to swing the ball is to be able to get it to move as late as you can. Now he's having the guts to pitch the ball up, which allows the drive. That's fine. The batsman comes forward, encourages the stroke, he plays the stroke. Again, pitching it up again. The red zone shows you that that might just have hit him outside the line of off stump. It's very tight. It's where the umpire gives the benefit of the doubt to the batsman, so credit to the umpire for that. And in fact, very soon after that, the umpires reckoned batting had become a bit tricky. Only that drive from Streak allowed any runs to come at that stage of the game. They came off for light, they were soon back on, and this happened.
Well, with the rain, it was a little chilly, and there was a second one for Atherton, caught first slip. A nice way to warm the hands up on a day such as today. And another fine delivery from Giddens. He really did bowl beautifully. And we see that channel ball once again.
It's so lovely to see how you can bring batsmen forward like that. And then, Barry, England seemed to sense something else.
Yes, Darren Gough, I think, sensed that he needed to pitch the ball short, really get the batsman at the tail end thinking about not coming forward. And you can see him peppering the batsman here, Johnson in particular, one of their mainstays. And eventually he got one of the batsmen straying, in this case, beautifully caught by Ramprakash. That really is a reaction catch. That mainly because he got caught on the crease. He really didn't get forward, and he wasn't allowed to get forward. And in the end, a very good reaction catch. Not easy when you're that close. And he's caught it beautifully one-handed.
Very difficult place to field. We mentioned about Atherton staying down earlier. Well, Ramprakash stayed in a good position here. Now here's Ed Giddings again to Neil Johnson, and suddenly, for no reason, Michael, he has a great wahoo.
Well, Johnson's a quality player, really, I feel, a class player. He felt the best way out there at that stage was obviously attack, but he picked the wrong delivery. And with that catch from Goughy, as always, the entertainer.
Yeah, well, he gave it the juggle act. You can see that Neil Johnson there looking to hit across the line when you could argue that he's going to hit in the air, which he does so well in one-day games, hit down the ground. And Darren Gough under the old steepler against what you can see now is a bright sky, a bit of sunshine out there suddenly, and it nearly popped out, but cool as a cucumber. He snatched it at the second attempt. And then it was Gough who finished things off with that good one. That flew through at real pace. That's a very decent effort from Gough. We mentioned that he perhaps didn't quite get the seam right this morning. He came back magnificently this afternoon. He bowled with great pace, and so we can have a look at the card with the end there. of Murphy. Disappointment for him. A few blobs there on the card for the Zimbabweans. 83 all out. A quick look at the English bowlers as well, because they did very well today, and the figures of Ed Giddings were quite outstanding. 5 for 15 from him, 3 for 28 Caddick, 2 for 36 Darren Goff, and that was a very good three-man effort.
Michael, what did you think of that?
Slater showing his versatility there. That was straight after play when he gave his thoughts on England. Now we've had an hour and a half or so to give things a bit of thought. Here go Atherton and Ramprakash on their way to the middle, and the difference was that Atherton was quickly into his stride. The footwork of the England openers was very good. There were little bits of fortune along the way as well. When you get an inside edge like that, the Zimbabweans might say, well, in their innings, the thing might well have come, you know, back onto the stumps, but it didn't on this occasion.
12 opening partnerships for Michael Atherton since 1989. The first, Graham Gooch, now his mentor, and the last one, Mark Ramprakash, who joined him in the middle today. And the reason why Mike Atherton's had so many opening partners is because England's opening partnership record has been shocking. 32 out of the last 50 opening partnerships under 25. That's a really terrible record.
Here's Mark Ramprakash on strike to Heath Street. They look pretty good, I thought, Michael.
Started in a very positive fashion. As you've mentioned, the footwork was the most impressive thing. A lucky start, I suppose, from Ramprakash with that French cut. He would have been very relieved to see it past the stumps going for 4, but their feet were moving beautifully.
Lovely bit of timing, Barry.
Yes, there was a lot of good quality cricket from Mark Atherton. He's an experienced player, and he didn't try and hit the ball too hard, just guarding it into the gap, playing with the swing and playing it late. I think that's why the two opening batsmen did so well. Really got him off to a reasonably good start.
Now, Heath Street switched ends. He started at the nursery end, and it was a... Oh, can you believe that? He put it down.
Well, Andy Flower at that stage, he'd be looking for a hole to sort of jump into and bury himself. I mean, that's just a regulation catch for a wicket-keeper. He wouldn't have been able to believe it.
No, I don't think anybody would. Whether he lost, or his brother lost the one that he was bowled out with early this morning, but maybe he hasn't kept his eye on it, who knows. But as chances go through to a wicket-keeper, that's about as straightforward as they come, and Andy Flower, normally such a reliable cricketer. However, it wasn't long before Heath Street had another go at Mark Ramprakash. The disappointment showing there, and a moment here from Mbangwa, who just over-pitched. I think that was the only fault I had with him. He was trying to make the ball to swing, but he probably over-pitched a touch. So nice to see a young bowler come in and try to swing the ball, but he might just give a little bit of thought to length. There were opportunities there for the England players to drive, and that length, half a yard shorter, you couldn't be driving. Atherton getting outside the line, so that's why Dave Orchard said that wasn't out, and the red zone will show it fairly clearly. He's hit about, what, 3 or 4 inches outside the line of off stump, but that length was much better. That's a pretty good stroke, Michael. Good footwork again.
Positive shot off the back foot, and once again, as Barry mentioned, playing the ball late, watching the ball right onto the bat, head in a very good position, and the ball just simply raced across the outfield. And at this stage, I think Athers is in good touch. Ramprakash looking to get a good start as an opening bat. And that's a huge shout given by Peter Willey. He took a long time to look at that, weighed it all up, and he thought that was out.
Well, it's hit him between wicket and wicket. I mean, there's not much in it. It's so tight. One of those was Zimbabwe's way when they were betting that one. They were batting that one went against England, so it was a tight one. One felt a bit for Ramprakash. 29 for 1 then. They came off straight after that wicket. It was getting dark. There was rain coming. It really wasn't good news. Heath Street got the wicket, and a great disappointment, really, for Mark Ramprakash to have gone before the close. Well, the star of the day with the ball for England, no doubt about it, it was Mr. Ed Giddings. Today's forecast suggests sunshine and showers, which could be heavy at times and with a risk of thunder and a maximum temperature of no more than 15 degrees centigrade.